It's been 3 weeks, 2 failed nominees, and 1 Mideast war since Republicans ousted Kevin McCarthy. And now they're considering Byron Donalds? Oh, Lord. Republicans went through McCarthy, who made a deal with the devil and got burned. Then Steve Scalise, who described himself as David Duke without the baggage. Then Jim Jordan, the loudmouth insurrectionist former wrestling coach accused of turning a blind eye to sexual assault by a team doctor. And after all that, we still don't have a Speaker of the House, second in line for the presidency.
Do you guys have any idea how clownish you look?
This is how Republicans play identity politics. Whenever Democrats put up a highly qualified woman or black person, Republicans answer by putting up an unqualified woman or black person in response. When Democrat Raphael Warnock ran for re-election in Georgia in 2022, Republicans recruited Herschel Walker from Texas. When Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away a few weeks before the 2020 election, Republicans rammed through Amy Coney Barrett to replace her. When Hillary Clinton got 18 million votes for president in 2008, Republicans nominated Sarah Palin for vice president. When Barack Obama ran for Senate in Illinois in 2004, Republicans recruited Alan Keyes from Maryland to run against him. When the legendary Thurgood Marshall retired in 1991, Republicans picked Clarence Thomas, of all people, to fill his seat. And when Democrats chose Hakeem Jeffries as the House Minority Leader this past January, Republicans nominated Byron Donalds as a candidate in response. That's why they don't like affirmative action. Unless it's for their own people. They think affirmative action is just finding any random woman or person of color on the street to fill a quota. But when Democrats nominate highly qualified candidates like Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, Republicans claim the left is just playing the race card and using quotas. Funny how they don't say that about Byron Donalds. Democrat Hakeem Jeffries is an experienced legislator who's been in Congress for 10 years and served 4 years in leadership under Nancy Pelosi. Byron Donalds has only served 1 full term in Congress. He just started 2 years ago. He's never chaired a committee and never served in leadership. But Republicans just might pick him because he's black. You see, there's 2 things that racists hate. One, being called racist. The other, black people. But if white racists can find a willing black person to endorse their racist agenda, then they get to pretend that they're not racist. All the taste, half the calories. Who's better for the job than Byron Donalds, who was one of 26 House Republicans who refused to denounce white supremacy? The same Byron Donalds who was one of only 2 black members of Congress to join in Trump's insurrection on January 6th. Donalds voted to overturn the 2020 election, disenfranchise millions of black voters, and block the first black woman elected vice president. Meanwhile, Donalds' wife is a conservative activist in Florida involved with the group Moms for Liberty, which is banning books by black and LGBTQ authors. It's a package deal, like Clarence and Jenny Thomas. Just last month, Donalds led the charge to impeach Joe Biden and got caught bringing in fabricated evidence about Biden's son Hunter in a congressional hearing. But here's the irony. Years ago, Donalds was arrested on a marijuana charge. 3 years later, he pleaded no contest to a separate felony bribery charge to defraud a bank. Of all his many sins, this is not one for me. Black men have been unfairly targeted by law enforcement and deserve a second chance. Byron Donalds is no exception to that rule. But you would think a guy who has a rap sheet for drug and fraud charges would have a little bit of empathy toward Hunter Biden, a recovering drug addict who never asked to be in the spotlight. And even though he had his own criminal record expunged, Donalds voted against a bill that would legalize marijuana and expunge the records for other people with cannabis offenses. And that's the hypocrisy. Republicans would never stop yelling if a black Democrat with Donald's criminal record ran for Congress, much less Speaker of the House. But the rules don't apply to their own people, as long as you do their bidding. That's why Kanye was a dumb black rapper until he wore a MAGA hat, and hip-hop artists were supposed to stay out of politics, unless they endorse Trump. Republicans use identity politics as both a sword and a shield. A sword to attack qualified women and people of color on the left, and a shield to protect themselves when they pick clearly unqualified women and people of color on the right. Even if Donalds doesn't become Speaker, putting his name in the hat gives him a stepping stone to run for governor of Florida later. That's why some ambitious black people join the Republican Party. There's so few of them that they stand out and quickly rise to the top. Republicans love black people who love white people. So Republicans don't just look clownish, they are literally clowns, even when it's not Halloween. So, send in the clowns. Oh wait, they're already there.